We haven't done a question and answer for a while. So now's your opportunity to ask questions. And maybe some other people in the room will have answers, or Bhante or I will, or it might be something we can talk about, have different opinions about. It's good if you have questions about your practice. Like if you're understanding the practice, if it's working for you, if it's not working for you. Uh-huh.
The person feels that they need to, at any time of the day or night, they feel they need to practice. They just can't find their way to do it. And it becomes stressful. Is it becomes a battle sometimes.
Uh-huh.
Creates anxiety.
Uh-huh.
It creates anxiety to focus on the breath. Then we stop.
Yeah, I would say stop doing that. That's the Bob Newhart School of Psychotherapy. If it hurts, stop doing it. A lot of times if we create that anxiety within ourselves because we really want to be practicing, but we don't do it. We create that resistance. It's better to just, drop it. Maybe drop it for a while. The last thing you want is for whether you practice or not to create anxiety for you, because then you're just making things worse. You're suffering. You're creating suffering, and really creating suffering. So, that's when it might be good to set a time, and this is when I'm going to start with 5 minutes. It's going to be a certain time of the day when is typically good for you, and then you're going to sit for 5 minutes and not do it the rest of the day. There's only one 5-minute period when you're going to commit to it, or maybe just one 5-minute period between 10 o'clock and noon, and then do that. Make it something that you can not stress about, but that's doable. Don't make it be something that isn't working for you. And it may work that when you sit down for your 5 minutes, you'll discover that you can sit for much longer. But if you tell yourself, I have to sit today, and you keep stressing about it, you're creating suffering, and guaranteed you're going to quit being a meditator.
That's what it stopped.
Uh-huh.
Stop everything.
That's what we do. That's why what you have to do is let go of the rules you have about, how often you should practice, and because you will gradually build it into your life if you do it without creating anxiety for yourself. Like, it doesn't make it a rule or a commandment or some people, it's very easy. They can say, I'm going to do it when I wake up. And they're very disciplined and able to do that. Now, they might just be sitting and mind is busy, but that's good. Even if you sit and you think, well, my mind's crazy. Why am I sitting today? Because my mind's just all over the place. That's a perfect time to sit and watch your crazy mind. That's watching ourselves is what we're trying to do. So that can be one way to create, for 5 minutes, I'm going to sit and observe how crazy I am. Observe how wild my mind is. It doesn't even want to give me 5 minutes, and see how it feels in your body. So that's one way. So create that 5 minutes where even if you hate it, you're going to do it, and you're going to observe all the craziness going on in your physical body. Or
a good point to observe that.
mm-hmm.
Let it come in versus fighting it.
Oh yeah, don't yeah. Let it come in and observe it. Just observe it. And I know your physical body's doing a lot of stuff that you can observe. It's the nature of even the kind of what your condition is right now.
Distracting.
Yes. And instead of letting it be distracting you from your practice, let it be your practice. Because if we're working with anger, don't say, oh, I'm not going to sit because I'm so angry at so-and-so, so I can't sit, because when you sit you have to be peaceful. And no, that's the perfect time to sit. And you can observe how that anger feels in your body. And just be with it. Okay, where do I feel it the most? Is it in my gut? And does it feel good? Does it feel good to be angry? Is this I'm making this choice to be angry, and how does it feel? It's not so much fun. But with physical conditions, pain and chronic pain, and you can still sit and just observe that and see how your body's, where is it in your body? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you get used to just observing your body, you'll start seeing, wow, today it's on my right side.
I'm not observing it the same. I noticed that. I noticed that when you just said that.
Uh-huh.
I'm not observing it the same as I did a couple of months ago.
So let that be your practice, and then that observation is going to be teaching you and revealing a lot to you, and your awareness is going to increase. And then don't burden yourself with, how much you need to meditate in addition to that. Like, let that be, okay, for me right now, for today, that's it, and that's good enough. Yeah. Does that help? Yeah. Because that anxiety about, oh, I'm not doing this, and a lot of us share that. It's all because, and it's suffering, right? There's this little thing that's off, like I'm not meditating as much as I think somebody over here is, and if they're meditating more than me, that's not good. I should be meditating at least the same as them, or maybe a little more than them. That's why I hate it when we had a thing that some people were doing on Facebook years ago. It was with a class. But they were putting on Facebook, on their chat on Facebook, how much time they spent meditating each day. And some people said that really was helpful, but I don't like to see that. It's like, is it a contest? Or is it a competition? Or is it just a helpful reminder? I think, why are they doing that? That would make me crazy. It's like, oh, somebody else meditated for 15 minutes, and I don't want to tell them I meditated more and make them feel bad, and I'm not going to admit I did it less, because then I'd feel bad. So don't do that to yourself. None of us should do that to ourselves. Sherry, you wanted to say something?
I wanted to say, if you want to like the podcast or from online, you can just hear you talking or Bante, and I meet you guys, and it's just like you could imagine you're in the temple.
I've gone there, but sometimes I need silence.
Mm-hmm.
Total silence, but then I hear all the noise in my body and my mind.
And that's really what that silence is good for, because we want to hear it. We want to understand how the pain or the noises. Exactly. And that can be your practice, because it's like you're having that conversation with your body, and that's probably what you need to do. And that's good practice, because this body is what we have. This is what we have this lifetime to work with. It's everything between here and here. And that's what we need to work with. We carry it around with us all the time. It's handy, like our breath. So that's a really good question of comments too, because so many of us think we're not doing enough. We're not doing as much. We're not good enough because we don't meditate enough. That's so like an oxymoron or something. It's so ironic. Don't just erase that there's like, if you have to, just give yourself a break for a while and see how much better you feel not thinking about it. I mean, just don't meditate for a week. And then maybe at the end of the week, you'll just decide, I'm going to sit. Get rid of all the rules and all the demands that you've put on yourself.
When I noticed I stopped a couple days straight,
Uh-huh.
it kind of like panicked me. When I realized it was a couple days.
Yeah.
And then I let that thought go. And then within the next few days after that, I noticed myself catching myself meditating or just breathing, taking the time to breathe at random times.
Uh-huh.
Just anywhere and everywhere, wherever, and just doing it.
Yeah.
I realized, okay, I can do this anywhere. I can go back to anywhere, walking, sitting, whatever. And then I picked up again, and that's when I realized, why am I getting anxiety to breathe?
Yeah, it is just breathing, right?
Yeah.
The only difference is...
Just be and breathe.
Yeah, that's all. And I think especially when we have metta practice, and just, when we're just doing mindfulness practice, we're just breathing and watching our breath. I think we can do metta when we're driving in the car, and we can do it if we're walking, if we're driving, pretty much all the time.
Standing in line at the cash register.
Yeah, and that's a really good time to do it. Think of where you get most frustrated. For most people, it's when they're stuck somewhere and they can't play on their cell phone, or they can't be talking to somebody because they don't have anybody to talk to, like standing in line or waiting for someone or sitting in an office waiting. So most of us have throughout the day a lot of opportunities to meditate. And doing metta practice is a great way to, if you're at the dentist, that's a wonderful place to do metta practice. So that counts. All that is practice, and all that, it's all about moving our practice into our day-to-day, minute-to-minute life. So if that's how we need to have our training practice, that's fine. Because what we want to do is just be carrying what we're learning on the cushion is it's like going to school. It's training, and it's how we live in the world day to day that we're training for. Yeah, we worry too much, and I think as Westerners too, we have this thing about, let's compare. I don't know, it's like going to the gym, going to the meditation gym. No, we don't need to do that. And I speak from experience. I've tortured myself for a lot of years. So, time for one or two more questions. Be careful if you even do that. I think you're raising your hands. It's like an auction. Uh-huh.
I'm reading the mindfulness book, and they mentioned in the practice of breathing that once you get through the inhales and exhales, sometimes people start to envision maybe a star or something on the tip of their nose or on their lip. I don't know if you're familiar with that or what that kind of comes from.
Which book is it in?
The mindfulness book.
Mindfulness in plain English?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just stuff in here. It's kind of, I never had that stuff.
So they see like
Maybe like a fog or a star or something.
with their eyes closed.
Yeah, it was I'm very descriptive. You're familiar.
I've had a lot of teachers say if you see things like that, just don't worry about it, it'll go away. I know on the inside of my eye sometimes I can, like, I'm creating it, but I'm playing with like a ball of light or something. But that's just to keep me fascinated. That's just entertainment. So I try to stop doing that. But if Bhante Ji talks about it, do you know what he's talking about?
Like object of meditation, like they might say, like, think of a flame. Meditation, your object of meditation is not the rock.
Mm-hmm.
Like a flame or a flower or a star. I don't know if that's it.
Yeah, that could become like the object thanks, Sherry. Your object for your meditation could be some other object, and that might be a flame of a candle, or it could be something like, because sometimes the sensation of the breath gets so subtle that you're even having to imagine what that sensation is. Like you have to just. That's why sometimes letting the belly be what your focus of attention is coarser, so it's easier to feel. And so if this is getting so subtle that you don't know if you're breathing in and out, it might be that there's another little point that can be that. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And really it is like you're imagining it when it gets so subtle that you're not aware anywhere. And if it's not cold outside, like in the winter, it's easier to be aware of it. But if the temperature's kind of perfect inside and out, you're just imagining you're feeling your breath. So that point or that other object to focus on can be a good thing. Or your belly. Okay, so thank you, everybody. Well, it's wonderful to have questions about our meditation practice, because most of the time you find that other people have exactly, similar questions, or other people have the answer. Like thanks, Sherry. So it's good to know that everybody around you isn't some professional meditator, and you're the only one in the room that. I mean, I spent the first several years of learning how to meditate, and I didn't ever feel comfortable asking them, and it was silent. I mean, about that. Nobody's question is going to be silly either, because probably if you're in any room, most of the people, or at least half the people in the room, have the same question, or they had it 2 days ago. So be comfortable talking about questions you have about your practice. Thanks, everybody.